As promised, this is a three-part series. In the first part, we're going to be talking about the 9 sides of Chicago. I'm doing 3, 6, and 9. And these first 3 is the southwest side, the southeast side, and south side. Good people of YouTube, I am Anant Dioris, Chicago Realtor with eXp Realty here in the city, and through my YouTube channel, The Chicago Life, I focus on Chicago's real estate and neighborhoods. And you can't have neighborhoods without communities, and you can't have communities without sides. And so I'm talking about the first 3 sides here, and this is how it's going to play out here in this video. I'm going to show you a kind of a high-res, zoomed-in map of each of the 3 sides: southwest side, southeast side, and south side. Going to talk about 1 or 2 of the communities within each side, and then give you some resources where you can get further information. Leading off is the southwest side, and what I'm going to be talking about here is the Beverly community with its sister community of Morgan Park and Auburn Gresham. So with Beverly, which has the annual Southside Parade, it does have a predominantly Irish neighborhood, but that doesn't define it. There's everyone, of course, is welcome. But the Beverly, you can see right here in this kind of location, it is technically, a lot of people think it's in the south side, but it's actually technically in this southwest side of Chicago. So here is the map. Basically, if you want to know any resources of Beverly, the Beverly Neighborhoods Association is one. What I'm going to be doing and outlining here is there's several sources, right? So Facebook is really, really big. And I'm going to be outlining and give you some screenshots of, if it's available, simply typing in the community. So in this case, Beverly, you could put in neighborhoods, again, technically a community, and going in and signing up, you know, and kind of getting the experience and understanding the culture of the neighborhood. The best way to do it is Facebook. Remember, it's Facebook though, so take it with a grain of salt. Another one is going on their website. Chamber websites are very, very, very informative and help a lot of people out. And in the particular case here of Beverly and the sister community of Morgan Park, they share a chamber. Of course, that makes sense with the pandemic to kind of economies of scale. So go through there. I have it there, as you can see. You can get a lot of resources. You can kind of get a feel of what's in those communities. I wanted to have a disclaimer here of all these 3, Beverly, Morgan Park, and Auburn Gresham. I don't personally work those areas. I can happy to give you information, and actually go ahead and still create an account if you're thinking about living in any of these wonderful communities, and I'll be happy to connect you with a referral partner, someone who understands those 3 areas. But that chamber is the second one. Then of course next door, because I know with Auburn Gresham, I had a little difficulty in my research of finding an actual specific chamber site, but I did find the Facebook, as you hear, Auburn Gresham Facebook group, and then you can join next door. Again, take it, but beware, right? Because it can get a little hairy in there, but at least you can get some just high overview of all 3 of those areas. So this has been the southwest side. Let's go over and talk about the southeast side. So now the southeast side, and actually the biggest community area, there are 77 community areas, folks. The biggest community is the South Deering neighborhood. It's the one I'm going to focus in on with the southeast side. And want to talk about a couple of numbers here. If you, by the way, want to know any numbers on what we've just talked about or any other, I'm going to be every day kind of releasing them through my community tab. If you don't know about the community tab, it's a tab on my main YouTube channel. I've been a little lax, I fully admit it, full disclosure, but I'm going to do a little bit better sharing some information when videos are going to release. I'm going to be sharing screenshots of some of the metrics, right? The ones that I talk about, those leading indicators, pendings, new listings, month supply. I'll release it for those communities. But for South Deering, actually pendings were up pretty healthy, 8.5% year over year. You can see here new listings up, and I also have listing to contract. When you're looking at market time, kind of that's a big determination. Obviously, higher market time means maybe the seller may not be motivated, and also, right, their property sitting, and that means offering less is definitely expected. Market times are pretty healthy. So, and then of course, I believe, I don't have the median pricing, but I believe it was somewhere around 190. But again, that is a lagging indicator. So again, if you want any more information, you can comment below, or as I mentioned, I'm going to be releasing these community metrics day over day, just for your information. So that's South Deering. And of course, Nextdoor is probably your best resource out of what I've been able to research. Go to Nextdoor, sign up to learn about the South Deering neighborhood if that's somewhere you'd like to live. South Side, right? North versus South Side. If you know anything about Chicago, right? There's always that talk of North versus South. So technically, South incorporates these, you're going to see these specific communities. And I'm going to zero in on a couple. First, going to talk about Bridgeport. Bridgeport, which is predominantly a Sox enclave. I'm going to get a little sports centric here. I'm a diehard Cubs fan, but I do love my Sox fans. Maybe love is a little too strong. I like, right? So Bridgeport, the great thing about Bridgeport, they do have a lot of resources. They have nonprofit neighborhood association resource site. They have the chamber, as I've mentioned, is a very useful. They have their own chamber site, and or excuse me, they had it, and now I believe they're bleeding into South. I could not get the information, and if any folks out there, please correct me if you're able to find. They used to have a chamber site, but I believe they've merged with the South Loop chamber site, which is technically not on the south side. And then, of course, you can go to Bridgeport neighborhoods. If you type in Bridgeport neighbors, on Facebook, that would probably be your best resource again to kind of get a feeling. Cultural, what's happening. There's a lot of garbage posts again in there, but that kind of gives you that flavor if you've been thinking about it. And now we'll talk about, so Woodlawn, a wonderful community. It's always been a wonderful community on the south side, but it's really raised its profile because technically east of Wooddale, in Jackson Park, is going to be the new President Obama's presidential center is going to be located there. I don't have a day when it's going to be finished, because if they say 3 years, it's probably going to take 6 years, right? So just east of there, so that whole area, it's been elevated, and it's already elevated, but just elevated to even more heights due to the proximity of Woodlawn to the Obama Center. So Woodlawn has their own chamber site, wonderful, vibrant chamber site. Check that out here. You can also type in Woodlawn in Facebook, get a feeling of what's going on there. You could use Nextdoor, but from my opinion, if you have Nextdoor and Facebook, I'd probably want to use Facebook, right? And of course, nothing beats with all these communities, folks, is just driving around. You need to really drive around. I can give you advice. You can look on a map. I can put maps up forever. I can do satellite maps. Google has those crazy satellite maps, but you need to get the feeling yourself. And then, of course, if you want to know properties, which I've mentioned earlier, I'm going to be sharing some of the metrics that I've learned here throughout December until the end of the year. But go ahead and create a search, livinginchicago.net. Livinginchicago.net, that is my real estate website where you can create an account. I have all the neighborhoods. Now, technically, as I mentioned, Woodlawn and Bridgeport and Beverly, those are communities, but of course in the search, any site you said, they're going to be neighborhoods. So if you're interested about Woodlawn and Bridgeport, go ahead. It's so simple here. You can see, you can actually just click on each of those neighborhoods. I'm also here to help, so you can create the account, and then I'm happy to create the account once we have a quick discussion of what you're looking for, and then see what the pricing is like, right? So a combination of seeing what the pricing is out there in the market, getting the metrics that I'm going to be releasing out, you can make an informed decision. So this has been part one of where in Chicago to live, the 9 sides of Chicago explained. I am Anantioris, AD, an eXp Realty Realtor. Watch a couple of neighborhood videos here. I've got my playlist. Check it out. These are the neighborhoods, and then I can't wait to show both part 2 and part 3 to you.